So this is the schedule. Like we have decided the team to go through with you for the ForgeRock AM. So basically, the ForgeRock access management, right? So
Yeah.
where we introducing start from access management, and I'll show you how the ForgeRock backstage, how to install the ForgeRock, and how we can access the it's a ForgeRock console where you can do multiple things, right? So authorization for a user, or to create trees, or to create SAML authentication to the OID systems. You can practice over there. So I'll come to that. I'll show you the one by one. So there, then we can protecting application with that intelligent authentication. So this intelligent one, actually, this is a new concept they have added in ForgeRock trees from some latest versions from the 6 version. I'll come to
Mhm.
the different versions also, like why ForgeRock. I'm saying that ForgeRock has different versions. I'll come to that. So there's their what are their authentication mechanisms? What are the nodes? How are the multi-factor? So multi-factor authentication, I guess you must know, right? SMS, OTP,
Yes, yes, I know,
yeah, right,
but
OTP. Yeah. How
how
to
to
configure
configure?
it via ForgeRock? Yeah, that we will do in coming sessions.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, so authentication methods. What are the authentication methods we have in ForgeRock? Same with the controlling access to the authorization mechanisms, REST API. That's what you're talking about, O2 based protocols, where we and about work on the O2 and OpenID Connect services, REST API, how we can integrate any application with that, how the REST clients obtain the access tokens and ID tokens. Yeah. And then we have this in syllabus, improving security with a zero trust approach. This is nice. I like
What
this approach. Yeah.
what is that one, Pranay? Zero trust. Recently, I have seen
Yeah,
zero
so
trust.
zero trust is basically like when and there's any machine, right? So where you don't want to trust anything, so, right? So how you will implement that? If you say to machine, like I don't trust anyone, whoever is it, so I need to have the zero trust policy over there.
The
It's not
includes
just from
includes
username,
mission also.
password. Sorry,
Includes mission also. Don't trust
include
mission.
what
Mission.
you
Yeah, type.
mission. I didn't get you. Sorry.
What is the zero trust? I don't know. What is that?
So zero trust is like earlier right now any application you do in your office and a username or password, right, or you go to the pin and right. So earlier we every major organizations have the username and password. So if you see, I'm not sure in which in your company they have removed it, but some of the companies they have totally removed the username and password, right? So either
Oh,
they go
okay.
to the PIN, or either they go to the by
Like
webcam
hyper.
or multi-factor authentication. So there comes a zero trust policy. So in backend, they will introduce a feature where they say they will not trust anyone, whoever is it. So if you because the username, right, like you can give to someone and password, right? Apart from you, somebody else interpret you and log into your system, right? Now they come into the other thing, like where you need to do the thumb authentication, where you need to their face authentication. So that comes as a zero trust policy. It's less
Oh, I see. I
simple
see.
like a
I see.
multi-factor authentication. You can also say, okay, this works on a multi-factor authentication, but the initial authentication will you do with the different approach, where you need to where your credentials cannot be used by anyone else, like your facial one, right? Your thumb one. So no one can interpret that one, right? Until somebody force you physically. Correct. So that's there come the zero trust approach. Like whoever log into the system, we need the zero trust approach. So thereby, so in the first part of the zero trust approach, they will remove completely your username and password. They will not allow the authentication with the user and password. There is not any page over there you can do that. Either you can do you put a pin. Pin is also like I think not as much as your trust, but maybe facial authentication, thumb authentication, so or any SSL card, so like that. So they come on zero trust policy. So they have how we will approach it. So ForgeRock also nearly implemented this one, and yeah, so this is our new thing into the latest come to the latest version. So check that is clever. Okay, yeah. And then we having this integrating with SAML two entities. So if you have what about the SAML authentication, so
Yeah, I don't know, Pranay, what is the SAML and what is the, I'm like, how
mm,
flow will go. Also, I don't know.
Yeah, that no way. So SAML authentication basically is where you're able to log into the multiple authentication with the same credentials, right? If you see in a system in your office also, you will simultaneously log in into the your Teams, and simultaneously you log into the your Outlook or your any learning application. So you don't need to put username and password, right? But these all are at backend, all the different applications, right? So what the
Mm-hmm.
SAML authentication do, they integrate it in that way, like only single credential would be enough to log into the multiple applications. So that's a SAML flow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the benefits, AM core concepts, and we'll come to the authentication and control AM authorization, role of AM using O2 protect REST APIs. I'll show you how we are using REST APIs O2 protocols in the mobile application, zero trust API. So we'll discuss this. This is a benefit, but we already will discuss once we go one by one with each thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is the syllabus we have. Yeah. So this is just single lines or topics we will discuss. But so now we'll come to the ForgeRock. So do you have what is ForgeRock, right? So what is the ForgeRock company and what are the ForgeRock products?
ForgeRock products means like different components, right? DS is one component, IDM
Yeah.
is one
Right.
component.
Yeah. Correct.
That is
Right. So
completely, yeah.
yeah. So you're right. Yeah. So ForgeRock is basically identity and access management provider company, right? So that provide all these details on this one. So they have multiple products over there for like identity management. They provide item. Okay, and Ping, and right? They have changed the name to the Ping recently, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Very
we
recently,
was,
right?
yeah, you're right. So Ping actually is another company, also identity access management company, but it was like more, and they have acquired the ForgeRock recently in few months back, and now they have converted everything into the Ping. So basically, if you somebody say ForgeRock IDM or ForgeRock AM, now it's called as Ping AM. Everything is same till now. In future, they are expecting to merge it, but right now everything is same. Just they have changed the name and introduce more concepts over there. So like Ping AM is earlier for the what we are discussing over here, ForgeRock AM, right? So now they have introduced as a Ping AM, also Ping IDM. So Ping DS. This was the ForgeRock DS. Now it's called Ping DS. And Ping Identity Flow Platform. And it was ForgeRock Identity Platform. Okay, so yeah, so we discussed about what's ForgeRock and what are the components, right? So we'll start with our first module. So with the module which I have currently discussed this one. So we are coming on to this introducing EM core concepts where we'll go through the intro access management, what is, and provide a great user experience. Okay, so the user experience means I'll show you the console of it, so how the console works well. Right now, I'll tell you how we can install the console on the Windows and with the what are the prerequisites required, what are the softwares required for it, so you can also do at your free time on your system and practice it. Okay. Yeah. So any question till now?
No, Pranay, I'm good.
Okay. 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 So okay. Sure. So you can stop me anywhere. You can ask me anything, any question
Sure.
you have. That's fine. Okay. So okay. So I was so what's access? So we're talking about the access management, right? So access management refer to the any policies, processes, right, that will be designed inside your company, how your data will be taken care of, how the user resources user credentials or their details would be taken care of, how they can authorize, right? How the user, what the access to the user can be provided, what access to the user we can't provide, what the level of access we can. So everything that comes in the access management. So if you are in a company, right? So maybe you are on a lead level, so you have access to some system, but where your manager is there and they have level to some system you don't have. So that all defined as per the levels access. So this access management comes in all this area. So what are the processes, policies, technology designs to regulate all these resources within a system or the organization. So basically it is also for this whatever this access management we configure to safeguarding our system. So which companies usually do. So right, so and it's I would say this access management has been widely been used by every company, every sector, even health tech sector, financial sector, telecom sector, any sector they are even like right now they have been which other companies are always which have doesn't have much access management or they are also implementing it. So it's a good uh, concept or knowledge or skill to have nowadays. Okay. So what are the key components we have? So we know, so what are the key components? So first becomes an authentication, right? So authentication is basically comes to process to verify the identity of a user or a device or a system. So authentication we do right whenever you log into your system, it identify you, right? Anyone. So through your username, password, through your multi-factor authentication, through your OTP, means anything. So it identify you. So that comes in authentication. So common authentication methods include such as discussed passwords, biometrics, multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication means like right. So you can get the SMS OTP or you can the OTP on any device or you can facial authentication or biometric authentication. So all this comes in multi-factor. So if you have more than two authentication in your system, that comes in multi-factor authentication. Right. So authorization comes that involves what user can access and what actions they can perform. So suppose what user what kind of access you have in your company, what action you can perform. So depends upon the authorization, depend upon the policies. So they configure the policies in your system, right? So they have already system build a system on top of that. This time it will be ForgeRock. Maybe some other companies or some other product like SailPoint, CyberArk. Theirs are also like same as a work as a ForgeRock. So have the same functionality as a ForgeRock, but in a different way. So how they where they can give the access, define the access of a particular employee. What this set level of employees will have this access, this set level of employees. Maybe like suppose employees which are not permanent employees or contractor to the company, right? They don't have the level access to the permanent employee. So that's authorization defined. So what define what user can access or not. So third, here comes in user provisioning and deprovisioning. So here, so user provisioning comes provisioning meaning like if we create the user in the new system. Uh, uh, this is mostly a concept from identity management, ForgeRock identity management, or you can simply say identity management as well. So where if any new user comes, like any new employee joins in your company, right? So he's a currently new employee. So he needs to be provisioned into the different databases, right? Maybe into the Active Directory or into any database or into the any DS server. So all this. So if we need to add the new user, the user is not present at all. Okay, it's a new user. So if we need any user to new system, like to the Active Directory, they have where they can store all the username details, right? His first name, last name, his address, what's his status, his male, female, so anything personal details related. So that we provision these details to the and into the company system. That's we call the user provisioning, right? Even if we need to update the any details, like he changed the address of his house or he changed the city. So if we need to update anything regarding the user detail, so that's also come to the user provisioning. And deprovisioning it's same opposite. So if any user leaves the company, or so we need to deprovision his details from the system, so that his details would be moved and his all access would be moved once he's removed from this system. So his access and everything also, because once he left out from the company, he will not able to access it. So that comes in a deprovisioning. So that will say the user provisioning comes in managing and managing the creation of the new user accounts or updating the user accounts, and deprovisioning will say the removal of the user accounts from the system. Right. And where I come the role-based access control, where we are assigning access rights based on the user's role within organization, just I'm discussing in the authorization part. So what kind of user has what kind of level. So any like manager has different kind of access. HR has different kind of access. Like there's some of the applications they can access, you can't, right? manager can access to something like any your feedback, right, where he has to fill the feedback. You can't see his feedback form, so because he has the right to fill your feedback, no, but you don't have right to fill check your see your feedback where he's filling, but you can if somebody unders you, but then that right you have. So that what kind of role based access control, so there's coming this topic, so an RBAC, so role based access control, which define the user role within the organization. Any question till now? Do you have any doubt? We'll ask these questions majorly. So if you got a hands-on on these major topics, so you can able to crack the interview. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll do the more practical sessions, Pranay.
Yeah, practical sessions come on it. So I'll install it in front of you, show
Yeah.
you how the installation goes, show you the DS server. Basically here we are using the embedded DS server.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I've come to that. So don't worry. So I have, if you see over here, so this one I have here as well, but this is just a screenshot, but I'll show you, I'll install in front of you. So you'll see how we've been installing and how we can. So we'll do the hands-on as well. Don't need to worry. I will show you how we can create the new user, how we can give the user, how you can start give the create a new user into the this ODS server and ForgeRock ODS server via AM, and how you can provide the security questions to them, how you can do that, how you can do provide that. So I'll show you all the navigations and all inside the ForgeRock. Currently, it's installed my system. I've just uninstalled it because I'll install in front of you and show you. Okay.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. So yeah, so other key components, yeah. So we are command that. So single sign-on, federation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So federation, access reviews, audits, and so single sign-on is what I was discussing. This is SAML. So SAML is used for the single sign. So what I told you, like you can able to log in with the multiple applications with a single set of credentials, right?
Yep.
So that is what's a single sign-on. That is the term called as single sign-on. But how we can achieve that? But we can achieve that through SAML, security assertion markup language.
I
So
see.
that okay, so this is a single sign. Like if you have in your office, like you can able to log into the multiple application, your learning portal, your feedback portal, your teams. So once you log into the system, they are automatically logged in, right? At a backend, each application have a SAML authentication. That XML authentication that have the XML files, they have at the backend, they have all did the setup. So each application have some XML authentication is taken place. So all that when it comes, so that comes in single sign-on. Single sign-on means you're able to sign in into the multiple applications with a single without entering credentials again and again. So that's come. So federation. So the second is federation. So federation identity management allows users to access systems everything across multiple organizations using a single identity. Single sign-on, I'm talking about within your company, within your organization, right? We have some applications when we require to single sign-on with different organization. Suppose there is
So
organization one, organization
that is
two,
called preparation, right?
federation, right? So suppose there is some application in one organization and they have suppose take an example of a banking application, right? You are logged in and but when you click on the payment structure, so they have introduced some other system, right? Some other organization taking care of maybe or some in any of it. So then they need to interlink to that identity that functionality for the user. So how they do that? So therefore, but you can't able to again log into their system, no, right? It will be just click a link and you'll be forwarded to that link to perform further functions. So that's the federation. So that allows the single user to have access to the multiple applications, right? So that's coming in the federation. Okay. So access reviews and audits. So regular assessment of access rights, permissions, ensure they're appropriate and compiled. So this is basically comes in IGA, identity governance. So whatever the audits and access reviews. So in ForgeRock as well, there is a they have some JSON files create whenever you create a new user or anything. So they have some put in some audit folder. So where
Which
if
folder?
anyone, sorry. Yeah.
Which folder?
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Okay.
So when we
So
come to that, hmm.
whenever user created, that will goes to some folder, right? Just with
Yeah,
JSON.
folder. Yeah, so inside that, they have some folder. So it's in ForgeRock. Once we go into that, no, I'll show you all that. So they use for the audit. So like they store all the logs information, right? So if
Yeah.
anybody, other company or other like if somebody like if you're working for any client, right, and he
Mm-hmm.
wants to audit the system or they have some technical person, so they can check these files and these logs to review it, to access it. So if you just to confirm like you are not sending any username password into those logs, any some sensitive information. So that is what the access review and audits are compiled of. So that's the policies and regulation they can set up in key component. And monitoring and logging, they can implement system to monitor access, detect suspicious activities. So monitoring and logging like uh, basically is a part of key component, but not ForgeRock doesn't provide, but it has the monitoring and logging you can do via some other applications where you can integrate the ForgeRock services to show that. Like if you heard about a Datadog, so Datadog services, what do you say? Like if any user authenticates, so it will store information over there, and it will show you when that user authenticate or not, how many times user authenticates, at what time user authenticate. It will show some limited information that is just required for monitoring to the upper management or the upper to the client, right? So these services are running or not. These services, what the services response at each time, 200, 200, like that. And if it fails, when it fails. So you don't need to go to the system, but there is a system they place where they can see all the applications are running fine or not. What's the CPU utilization of that application? What the space has been utilized for that application. So even if you go to the AWS or you got that, so there you can enable the monitor and log in CloudWatch logs if you heard about it. So there you can monitor that. So limited information. So that just to check the health check of your applications. Okay, so that's what monitoring
Yeah.
and logging.
How
Even
to
in
check?
logging also in ForgeRock, there is a separate folder where you can see debug the logs and everything. That will come to it. Okay. So any questions on these things? So yeah, so this is the top of the key other key components for the regarding the access management. Right? So any question on that? Do you have any doubts? Any question on this part?
Basically, I don't know, Pranay, how to verify the checks and monitoring and health checkup. I don't know how to check
Hmm.
those logs and all these things.
Yeah, so
I'm
this is
complete.
yeah, so we'll come to that. So how to check the logging for the ForgeRock? Okay, I show
Yeah.
you where these ForgeRock logs have been installed. Okay, so later on, but this is just currently I've started from the theoretical concept, right? So this is I'll come to one by one in each
Yeah.
section when I install it and write, and then we can then I can show once we create the user, maybe I guess tomorrow. So where the logs stored, when if you get any issue, how you
Mm-hmm.
can debug that issue. So
Yeah.
which logs need to be look into that to debug that. So I can show you that.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then tomorrow we'll go to the installation part, right?
Yeah. Well, today I guess we can go with the theoretical concepts we are doing. Right. I'll show you about the ForgeRock requirements, software requirements. If we get time, I can install it today as well. Let's see.
Yes, yes, sir.
It's not
You
much
can go
far.
ahead and complete the installation part. So it's required Apache Tomcat, right?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Yeah.
And then EM access management zip folder, right?
Yeah. So here it is. No worries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you see this Forge Rock, right? Setup
Yeah.
and requirements. So
Yeah.
basically, the minimum requirements are your disk space should be greater than 5 GB. Java should be 1.8 and greater than that. And because why
1.7,
we
right?
it depends. It depends. So if I show you, it's my next one. So if you show you, so this one. So this is JDK 8. So
But
8 is minimum. So this is what I have discussed with you. So what are the
okay.
access management, right? I have policies
So
and all.
access management means it is a creating a digital identity for the people, right?
Uh, little different. Digital
Little
identity
different.
to create is comes in mostly in identity management, right? So when you create a
Access
digital
management also
identity,
we have to create identity, right, for people.
sorry.
Yes. We will create a digital identity, right? Digital identity means so we will create everyone to user created, right? That is right. That is
Yeah,
not.
right. Right. So to create the digital identity, so to create a digital identity, you require two things. One is identity management, and one is access management. So
Oh, I
these are
see.
little work is on the same combined way, but these are also two different way to approach. So identity management comes when you take care of the user identity, how the user identity will be installed, added, right? So in which direct services it will go. Access management where comes where the policy is defined what the access and authorization should be given to the user, right? So the forged what the
Um,
ForgeRock AM does, so it provides the access management functionalities.
so
The ForgeRock
one of the interviewer asked me, what is the IAM?
I am
So
so
yeah,
okay.
yeah. What I said is identity access man IAM is an that means creating a digital identity for the people, uh, internal and external organization, and this component allows user authentication, authorization, and access policies. Is it correct or not?
Yes, correct. So, but you can more add to the point. So, like identity access management, where user can, we can provide the identity services to the user, where he can able to, user can be define the policies for the user, what authorization given to the user, how the user can authenticate. User could be required multi-factor authentication and all, and how user would be provisioned into the system, right? And how if user need to like remove from the system, how we can deprovision it. So all these services are provided by the identity access management.
I see.
So
Okay.
yeah, so that you can explain in more way, because identity access management is where you initialize, give the provide the like create identity of a user, right? That comes in identity management, where you will if you're new to the company, and HR will add you to the company system, like it will be active directory most of the companies use, so right. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
come the
correct.
provisioning, so you can say like provisioning and deprovisioning of the users, and then providing the access to the user via authorization and authentication, and what the policies to define the user. So all that comes in the access management, identity access management. So other key components, what I've just decided, right? I guess, so these were I was discussing. You're able to see my PPT now, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so authentication, what we discussed, right, to include passwords. If they, I can ask also about authentication to identify a user device or system. It includes password authentication, biometric, multi-factor authentication. Authorization, we just discussed. User can access what actions they can perform. User provisioning and pre-provisioning, that I'm talking about. What the when the user entered into the any new company, they provision the user. If the any user resigns, they can deprovision that user account from the system. How the access right based on user's role, that comes in role-based access control. Right. I guess this one also you asked me initially. I remember.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Role by control, yes.
Yeah. So single sign-on, how users can log into the multiple systems. So they can ask you what is single sign-on. They can ask you what is the federation. They can ask you what is the difference between the single sign-on and federation. The difference majorly between single sign-on and federation. Single sign-on can be used within a multiple system, but within a same organization. With a federation can be used for the same user identity, could be used for the multiple application, but on multiple organizations. And so there's a federation. So access, reviews and audits, monitoring and logging. So that's what we have generally now discussed. Okay. Yeah. So other now we generally now discuss what is access management, what are the key components, what are these are the basics, right? So
Yep.
just to set up the mode of mm, the training. So now comes to the major parts of ForgeRock. So how we can like install it. So what are the prerequisites? So the question comes in interview, what are the prerequisites to install the ForgeRock, right? Even if you install Windows or if you install on a Unix system, they are same, right? So first there should be the disk space. The disk space here should be greater than 5G GB. It is almost more than that everyone have, but that's a setup that have been should be over there. Java 1.8 or greater than that. 1.8, I'm saying before 1.11 also do, but those were the old Java versions, right? But you
Yep.
need to install on the latest ones. You should practice with the latest ones after the 6th version. I'll come to
Yeah.
that. So if you show you, I'll show you now. So if you see, these are the M75. So latest is M75. So we are using the JDK 17. Okay, does if you install JDK 11, all right, it doesn't work on the
So
75.
JDK 17 is fine, right?
Yeah, JDK 17 is fine. It can 7.3 and 7.4 will work, but then previous version won't work. So it depends upon like if in your company which EM version they are working on. If they are because some are working on the previous one like 6.5, then you should have
Yep, yep.
1.8 or 11. And if in your in a 7 or 7.1, so till 7.2, I guess 11 work, but 8 won't work and 17 also won't work. And if you use 7.3 and 7.4 version, then 8 won't work, 17 and 11 can work. So these can be use. Okay. So these versions you need to take care of whenever we deploy. Okay. So this Java, and we need to have Apache Tomcat. You need to install on your system. So it is the AM itself, the Java application. So it runs on this Apache Tomcat container. So where we install this AM war file, I'll show to you.
And
And
also how
then
to 6.5 to 7.2 upgradation, how we can do.
Okay, so these, so if you want to upgrade the system, so first you need to update the software, EM WAR file on it, right? So there's so you need to update your WAR file on it, and then it depends upon the company to company, right? So how
Yep.
they have configured their system.
Yep.
So you must have they have must ask a question to you, like if you want to upgrade, how do you upgrade from a new version
Yep.
to the a previous version to the
Old
new,
one.
right?
Yep.
First, you need to see the requirements of it, right? Prerequisites of it. So, what are the prerequisites of the new latest version, right? And what are the things they need to take care of, and what are the changes they have done in the latest one, right? So, you need to check all this. So, how you can check that?
Yeah.
Mm. So, if you go to the ForgePing AM, right? And these all are the versions, old one, latest, 7. So, if you go to the 7, so they always release the guides over here. Revelation note, release notes. So where if you go to these release notes, yeah, yeah. So they always tell over here what's new. Okay. So what they have added, right? What the fixes are that they have, like they have this one. What they have added, services they have updated, email, these services, right? What they have been depreciated. So you need to check if any of your previous mappings which has been used by your client has been depreciated. You need to check and need to update that. What additions, what limitations, all this. All right. So you need to go through what are the requirements of it, right? So what are the requirements of to upgrade to the new software, right? Which zip file you need to upload, what operating system, that what they all done, all this what the Java version. So if anybody asks you, you need to how you upgrade it. So you will check first your versions, like you will check what is the requirements for the new software, what are the prerequisites, what are the prerequisites, what are the things has been depreciated. Need to check in our system how of the any of the depreciating any of the functionality that has been depreciating we are using. So how do we need because we need to test it. Okay, so how you
Yep.
will upload it and you will upload the new one and then and you will test your whatever the functionality has been you're using. You need to test each application that has been depreciated or so you need to update as per the new AM version. So if you go through each all these document, right? So you will get if you read about it, you will get a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding as well. Once you complete this training as well and side by side you go through these documents as well, you will got to know a lot of things, right? Anything like you need to build a ForgeRock has a document of it. You just need to check,
Yep.
follow, and try it at your test environment, and then you can do. Yeah. So they have this one. Yes, I also like do the same. So if any requirements I get to do or anybody asks me, so I need and if somebody because it's a very big product, right? And sometimes I also don't know all of the things, right? So I need to, I'll go and read the document. What's about that? I try to understand it. I try to practice it. So if you go see, it has everything, installation and maintenance, how you can installation and yeah. Sometimes it's tricky. It's not able to understand. If once you have a hands on it, so you can easily, and once you move to the advanced level, so you can easily able to do all that stuff on yourself as well. So, but they have everything, authentication,
Okay.
single sign-on, session guide, or user self-services where you can create a user inside the EM. Here, I show you this thing in next class of how we can create a user and all, where the user will be stored in this federation, what I'm talking about, right? This OAuth auth to OpenID Connect, SAML, security as token service, REST. So this is all about the REST APIs. So, right, so in REST API, so this is I'll show to use how where all these REST APIs are there. So this one, like sometimes they ask us to customize it also. Like you can use the direct link, direct endpoints to test it via Postman or via curl commands. So
Okay.
how where you can get all the endpoints from there, like this one to check the users and everything. So this is the REST API calls. So they have everything on this document. Okay. So, okay, let's come to the
What is a
next.
curl?
Sorry.
Curl.
Okay, curl. Okay, curl command. If you heard of, so curl command is you heard of Postman? Have you worked on Postman
Postman.
before?
Yeah. I worked on Postman. I did
Yeah,
not
you worked
recollect.
on Postman, right? So
Yeah.
if you see on Postman, I haven't opened it. So if you see on Postman on right side, click on the settings of that
Yeah. Correct.
curl command. You can give the curl command,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that curl command you can create with the endpoint. Like it's like a Postman
Post.
UI. The curl command will be at the backend. You can create also your that curl command. So you can hit on the Unix on your system, CentOS or your system anything, and get the result same as a Postman. Why we use curl command mostly because in production they don't allow to use a Postman. Right, so they don't allow you to use username password would be easily shared over there, right? You need to give the username password of the your like admin password for the ForgeRock and things so to give to hit the user to get the details and everything. So curl command also you need to give, but it's be on a highly securitized because whoever only access to that instance, go to the instance, give the curl command, hit the curl command and get the result, right? Get the token. So that we could use the curl command. So if you, there's a very widely used in AM, mostly in
Okay.
production systems, because
Okay.
in production system you have very restrictive access. No company will allow to use Postman. You always have
Okay.
to go through the curl commands. Yeah. If you
I
want,
see.
I have a few curl commands I can share with you, basics
Yeah.
ones. So that's always good to have. So because most of the people don't care about to learn these things, but that's a real difference when you work in a company or when somebody asks you to check the issue on a production or any like state system where access is restrictive. So
Yeah.
if you have hands-on on that, so it will be a very big benefit too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's if you go to Postman or copy that, you will say curl command. So you can use that curl command. We need to little customize it, like curl we use for post services, right?
Yeah.
Post, update, get, post, patch. So all these services we can use
Yeah.
the Postman. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is we have Java version. So okay. So now we come into directory services. Right? So directory services means not about any schedule, but it's what directory services we are using inside the AM, right? Where they store all those information, users informations and all everything. So and they're the directory server. So basically, we have all these directory services, embedded ForgeRock directory services. So if you install the AM WAR file, so it has internally embedded ForgeRock services like you have to use. So for testing, you can use them. So, but we can also use the external ForgeRock directory services, right? So if you could go to the ForgeRock DS, right? So that's where you can use for that. So external ForgeRock directory services, 6 and later that ForgeRock provided. Otherwise, you can use the external system as well, file system based, Oracle one, Oracle directory, Microsoft Active Directory, and Oracle Directory Servers Enterprise. So for this training, we'll use this embedded ForgeRock directory services. When we install the AM, it will I'll show you it while installing it, show you the page to click on to create the embedded directory services. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so now comes to the ForgeRock installation. So this installation we need Tomcat download. You can get, I guess you can download, you know how to download, right? So Java developers. I'm not worrying much about that. So you can download it from your system. ForgeRock for download. So you can download it from the ForgeRock website, right? This one that I showed to you. Go to that one and like if you need to 7, click on that.
7 or 7.5, 7
Yeah,
point
7.4. Anyone you can whatever you can download. I'll say what's in your system currently. Which
7.5.
Java version? Java
Oh,
7.4. Yeah.
Java version
Is
JDK 7.
any AM installed currently in your system?
Yes, yes. Java 17, JDK 17 I'm using.
And AM installed any or you need to?
AM 7.5.
Okay, installed, right? So that's good. So you have access to the console.
Yes, yes. Correct.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So yeah, so I guess that's a Java version you need to check. Okay, so now I'll show you to how we can install. So I have already um so this one I have system. Okay. So if you see I have already Tomcat installed and this is I'm going to install the 7.4 WAR file. And okay, so where you need to install, so this one, you need to go to the Tomcat. I mean, we go to the web apps folder. So you just copy over here this what file you need to copy, right?
In web apps folder, right?
And yeah, web apps folder you need to copy, and then you need to, check your Tomcat conf server services as well.
Server.xml.
Yeah,
So for changing the port number or
correct. You're changing the port number because your port number could be used by some other application. I have installed many applications, so
oh,
that's why I
okay.
have to change that. So and plus 7 and the airport number I can use.
What is the connector? What is the
This port number? Okay.
port number? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
What
port
about
number you
the,
need to hit on the your Tomcat
yes,
will
yes,
hit this
correct, correct.
port number to
But what
log
about
into the.
can you go top? You
Okay,
change it
this
from
one shutdown. So this is a shutdown also.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
Shutdown
Got it.
port also. So we need to update the shutdown port also. If it's been used by another system, then
Yeah,
it can like fail your installation and everything like that.
yeah,
Right? So we need to just change this. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so this is what we did. So we have updated the ForgeRock. So it's mostly simple. So I guess now we need to run this one. So it's always comes up. Just maybe the bin folder. If you don't have, I can give you commands all that. Only. It has already written in it.
And then start up that bed, right?
Installation. Yeah.
Catalina.bat.
Yeah, Catalina.bat.
What is that Catalina.bat?
Okay, it's a Tomcat file to run the Tomcat on Windows system.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. I see, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
thought it is something. Yeah,
it's no, it
yeah.
will initiate your Tomcat services.
Yes, yes, correct,
So
correct.
then it will whatever the application you have been added on your web apps, it will run that application. So
Yeah,
now I'm doing it one. Okay. So if you see right now, so it's starting the Tomcat services,
yeah.
and it take a couple of minutes just. So the Tomcat engine has been started, and it will try to install the ForgeRock game. If any errors also come, it will tell us. And initially, have you started also working in your company as a ForgeRock on the services? So do you get requirements on that to work on? Or like you have just started?
Just started.
Mhm.
No, not started. Just I'm learning. That's it.
Okay, you're learning.
Learning. Yeah. Just I am giving the interviews.
Okay. So I guess it's start. So what's the name we have also? Okay, I have to do one more thing, so it's fine. So AM 7.4. Okay, we can rename it as well, but that's fine,
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
guess. We can rename it as well, so that will be a good name, but that's fine. So let me see, it doesn't have issue with this one. And we have the port 93, right? So this 893. We should rename it, but it's fine. Let me see. So I need to this one. So I was getting so localhost. So it will give have because we are installed on our system. That's fine. You can change the DNS also, but it's you have to go to the host file of your Windows system. It's administrator access. If you can do that, that would be better. But you can also touch with the local host as well. This is your port and this is the
Yeah.
name. You can change the name as well. Once you do now when you are a machine, change it
Mm-hmm.
name of your WAR file as well and
Yeah.
use this instead of let me try this one. Otherwise, we can reinstall it. Yeah, that's fine. You can go with that. So if you see where we are getting these ForgeRock configuration options, default configuration, custom configuration.
So
So if you also
shall we
create a default,
go?
yeah.
Can we
So
go get new configuration, custom configuration?
right now I don't have for the custom configuration, but right now I'm going with the default configuration. So
So
for
is
the
there any
custom configuration, we need to have a different setup that comes with the ForgeRock DS and all. So, but today I'm going with the default configuration for this one to install it. If you want later, we
okay.
can go with the custom configuration, but these custom configurations come with ForgeRock DS schedules, then there's some other topics need to cover for that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But if you want, I can later on once we move over there, this one, so I can show you with custom configuration as well. That's fine. Okay. So currently, if I go with the create default configuration, so it's with the embedded DSL. So what is we are over here, right? This embedded ForgeRock directory services that would install. And for coming sessions, I'll try to cover this part.
Sure.
So default configurations, I'll click on the create default configuration to set.
I think this is a straightforward, right?
Yeah, it's a straightforward. So continue. You need to give your password. So any password you can give. So AM admin, this is your user. Remember it. AM admin, it's always the default user for the admin user, and you can give the password. So password, let me give an admin 1234. Okay, that's why I'm just okay, right. Create configuration. So now it will install your DS and with their AM. So AM has been installed by Tomcat, but this will install the DS. So let it run, it will run, extract all the information. Let's first do with the default one. Try
Yep.
to hands on the default one, try to hands on the login to the ForgeRock console. Later on, once you get confidence, you can try with the custom. Because if I go with that one, you will confuse. But a lot of things will take care of the custom one. So it is registering all the things. I'll show you. So I'll show you folders as well. I guess it has been generated. So if you go this one, so this has all the folders that has been installed by Tomcat, the console and everything over there. This one using Windows. Once you installed on Unix, and also you can log in and see all these folders over there. Similar to OauthIDC. So all these modules, frameworks has been installed. Fine. So once we hit login, so it will return all this config. Uh, tell you about this is alive.jsp. There's also one question. Okay, remember I should not tell you now. So this is alive.jsp. So
What
if
is the
they ask you,
live.jsp?
yeah, so if they ask, how you can check your your AM service is working fine. They ask you, you can tell like there is alive.jsp that can help to check check the AM services run. So okay, so I guess if I open it, okay, I'll let it run. I'll show you later. But this is the one file which you can run it on your system. So that tells your application services are fine. If and it will not, but I'm not running it, but I'll show you over there. So if here she tell your server is alive, right? So this will tell this is alive.jsp there to tell your AM services are live on. Right? So this is they sometimes ask you a question how to check the services of your AM directly. You can say there is a isalive.jsp that we can use to check if our AM server is alive or not.
So up and running or not, correct?
Yeah, but AM is running on. So this one, because if you they when you in Unix also when you install your ForgeRock for any product, right, for any and if somebody asks you, so you need to configure this isalive.jsp in your file, so that allows to run it. So once your application has been installed on the server, right, so isalive.jsp should run at the end to confirm that give you this information server is alive. If they give you this message, it means your services, AM services are perfectly running and fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I guess it must have, yeah, proceed to login. Now, so now we are into the ForgeRock, and AM admin was the user, AM admin, and password is this. Now, yeah. So now you are able to log in into the ForgeRock console, right? So if you see, I have installed 7.4. It shows 7.4 version. Okay, and now these are the realms, so you can create new realms. So if I go to the top Raven realm, it's a root realm. You can see all the dashboard areas. In dashboard, you can see every feature of the ForgeRock game. And so, okay, so this is the dashboard where authentication trees, service, auto client, SAML applications, where you can create your auto client, right? Any auto clients you can create. SAML applications where you can configure your SAML applications. IG protected apps. This is related to ForgeRock identity mostly. So Java agents, web agents you can install.
What is the difference
Yeah.
between web agents and gateway? Gateway is different and web agent is different, right?
Gateway is its identity gateway. So what is basically if you have heard about ForgeRock identity, right? So I can tell you about this one, this product. If you go over there, no? And if you go to the stamp this pending already take time. So if you go to the ForgeRock IDM, identity gateway, identity platform, I guess yeah, this one, ping gateway. This was earlier it was ForgeRock gateway, Trinity gateway, so we're changing. If you go to this gateway, right? So yeah, so what's this for gateway like? You have your AM installed, You have your UI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. UI where you can log into the system. So between UI and AM, they install this identity for gateway. So it's a proxy servers they install where any information you hit, UI will hit the IG server, and then IG server will hit your AM APIs. So that this identity gateway performs. So it will add a one layer of a security application on your system. So if somebody also, like suppose if anybody want try to hack your system, so they will maximum reach to the IG APIs, right? So IG
So,
API, and they will IG API will counter attack that, and they will not allow the system to go further.
so
Only the authenticated
you
person, yeah. So
user will
that's
hit user will hit identity gateway, right?
yeah. So it will be like
Identity
uh,
gateway and then route it to access management, na?
yeah, right. So route it to the it's have the routers, if routers over there where they install the routers over there where they install it and they route it. Then those APIs with those application routers will hit to the AM. So then AM functionality would work any like push authentication or multi-factor authentication. So IG will hit and AM will perform. So UI
Okay.
will not
But
directly hit the AM. UI will hit the IG. IG will hit the AM.
okay, but IG will hit the AM. Okay.
Yeah, IG will hit
So
the AM.
where can store the config store, CT store, and identities?
Yeah, this config store, CT store, this will be stored inside the AM. But the IG responsibility only to go to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
So identity gateway will
yeah,
redirect to access management, correct?
yeah. Redirect to the access
So
management.
inside the access management, we have a config store, CT store, and identities, na?
Yeah, right.
That's
So these
correct or not?
identity stores will be stored over here. So identities, this is the embedded DS server what we have just installed, right? So these have all this plugin information, user configuration, and everything. And even if you create your new customized one, they also will store over here. Any identities you will create, all the identities will be stored here. Let's showing the demo one. But if the next class we will create the identities. I'll show you how to create the identities. This one. So we have some services we need to configure. So if you need to go to service, add a service. So this will go to the here. These are different services where you can enable your authentication services, auto provider, push notification service, user self-service. So user self-service will be used where you can perform how you can create a user registration. So it will create a user registration page, right? So user registration page, it will be look like this. I'll show you tomorrow. I will do that, but okay, not for today's session, I guess. Yeah. So okay, that's fine. So this is a user self-registration page. It will look like.
Okay.
So here, user will register your account. So you can create your user self-registration. So you can keep. So you would be like administrator of the product, and you can create as many as users over there, right? And how this will be self-service username, forward password, forward name, right? I'll show you that. So there's a lot of once I'll configure this and create, na? So there'll be a lot of thing will come up over there as well. I'll
Okay.
show you this one. Yeah. How you can set up security questions, how you can set up email authentication with them. Uh, you can set up a forgot a password username. So what depends upon the requirements of the user registration page, any client can ask. So you can configure it like this, user self-service. Okay. So these are all a lot of services over here. So you can
So real time, which services we will use most of time? User self service or push
user
notification?
self-service we use most of the auth to provider service use that's for auth to connectivity. ForgeRock authentication push service we use, authentication auth service we can use. Device ID if they want to authenticate the devices, the device ID we use, right? And the session we use, how they want to store the sessions, what's the time limit of the sessions, when the session expires. So they can use if I can create. So they what's the maximum session time, what's the maximum idle time, what's the caching time, all these sessions they can. I'll come to that one sessions, but there'll be a separate session, separate. We'll discuss on this session. This is a very important topic for two houses can store the sessions and everything. Right. Okay. Okay. We'll go to that. So we're just going to this one. So what are the features I want to show? I guess you know, right? Maybe you have see that all chain modules. This one, this all modules we have LDAP, port, Topi. This is a the topic. So TLS. You can send SMS or OTPs through SMS and everything. Trees, chains and modules are now. It's like old one is going to be they are still using it, but it will be, I guess, depreciated in coming of that thing. So mostly they have moved their authentication process through trees. It's like a workflow. So you can create your tree. I'll show you how we can create a tree. What are the nodes? What are the meaning of most of the nodes? So zero collector, username, password. So these are the
So can
nodes. Yeah.
we create in a real time, day by
Yeah,
day?
we'll create in real time. So I'll show you some of that testing one, but not it depends upon the requirement. But in these sessions, I'll try to cover a few. We'll create a few and we'll practice that. So you will have a hands-on, and later on you can hands-on on your time as well. Different. And I can point to few that some documentation provided by ForgeRock where you can see and learn and as well. Okay, but we will do in sessions. I'll go. There will be separate session for this. So yeah, authorization. What I'm talking about the how we can access this. These are the policy sets where we can do the policy sets for the user. You can create a new policy sets. Or you can use a default policy set. Right. So this is an identity stores where there's embedded your OpenDJ has been created. Where your and identities will be added when you use it, your user got registered, right? That identities will be stored here. Scripts, if you write a customized scripts, or if you want to add this script, so this you can add a customized script. This kind of scripts used in trees, so where you can do the customization part, right? Secret stores, so this is the secret stores we store the key stores, and also we store for like XML or what required. I'll come to that. Services that we're just discussing, we can implement any services we want provided by ForgeRock. Sessions, this is sessions. So this sessions is basically there for entering a username we can set up. We'll come to that for the sessions. And these are the configure authentication global services they have. Can go through that once in time one by one. This is a lot of different things. So how to install that ForgeRock authentication push service globalization seconds. Depends upon what kind of configuration you want to do, right? So we need to update all this. I'll come some of them, but as per the we have in our schedule, so we can go through
Okay.
that. Yeah, not all, but yeah, some of them for sure, which are the mostly required. Server defaults. This is session. Come to that is the debugging. If you need to enable the debug level, error message. I'll discuss this one separately. Security sessions. CTS, maximum connections, advanced, and this all to the deployment. What are the servers we have? Currently, we have this server. If we need to install a new one, any add server we can add for an instance. And so yeah, a lot of things over there. So if you go to the API Explorer, so here you will see these commands. You can try it out over here as we come to that. So these are the APIs that we provided by the AM. You can use that. We can use in this one to run to the APIs. Sometimes they ask how you get the APIs. You can from the API Explorer. You can go to the required endpoints, and so to get these APIs.